Welcome back to normal baseball. We are through yet another weekend of games in MLB. Trout and Ohtani continue to carry the Angels. The Giants swept the Dodgers and moved ahead of them in the standings. And the NL Central seems up for grabs. We're going to talk about all of that and more on this episode. So, Lewis, fun weekend of games, would you say?
Yeah, definitely really fun. I was excited to watch all the games and got a good amount of entertaining baseball, if you will.
Yeah, so let's start with what might have been one of the more fun things this weekend. The Giants actually swept the Dodgers
Yeah,
with seemingly in easy fashion, and they moved ahead of them in the standings in the NL West, which I feel like a lot of people didn't
predict
think
that
that
at
that would
all.
happen at any point this season. So the Giants are now 39 and 32, and Dodgers are 39 and 33. So
Yeah,
they're up
let it
on
be
them.
known the Giants are also on a 7 game win streak as of now. Crazy to think about. They did sweep now their second team in a row. They also swept the Cardinals during the week, swept the Dodgers during the weekend. Now they're off to San Diego to play. Well, they're off to the Giants, back to San Francisco, are now going to play the Padres at home for a 4 game set this week, which should be a very entertaining series if the Giants are going to continue playing the way that they are.
Yeah, and especially because the Padres have seemed to maybe keep it up, step it up a little bit. So that's exciting too. Yeah, like you said, they kind of just did this out of nowhere. I mean, they sweep the Cardinals, sweep the Dodgers, just like that. You've won seven in a row. You're feeling really good. They're actually 7 games above 500 right now. So when they started, they were at 500, and just like that, they just kind of cruised their way to second place in the NL West now, just behind the Diamondbacks, which the Diamondbacks have been very, very good, and they have continued to be very, very good. Um, so, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, are you aiming for first place? Do you think the Giants have a good chance to make first place? Because if I had to say between the Diamondbacks and the Giants, I'm leaning more Diamondbacks for sure. I think the Giants, they're just hot right now.
Yeah.
I don't see them as a team. I don't see them as a team that could win this division
Oh,
realistically.
I completely agree with you. Definitely don't think that the Giants have what it takes long term. Their pitching as of late has been excellent, but we have seen, especially earlier in the season, their pitching has let them down in a really, really bad and poor way. And yes, they're catching a hot streak. They're winning 7 in a row right now, going in to face one of the better teams, at least what we expected to be one of the better teams in baseball. I think, though, it's very unlikely that the Giants are able to gain sole possession of first place in the NL West for even a day.
Even a day. So you don't think they're gonna make any pushes towards it?
I think there's going to be a
I mean,
push
they're
towards
three
it.
and a
I
half,
just don't think that they're going to be able to do it.
3.5 back right now. So it's possible. They beat the Dodgers. By the way, swept the Dodgers at home, not like in LA. So they really did beat LA in LA.
Yeah, which
So
I mean, a very good rivalry in baseball, and that happens from time to time. It really does, and it's always entertaining.
yeah, they won game two. They won game two 15 to nothing.
Yeah,
15 nothing.
let it be
Dodgers
known
couldn't even
they won
muster
that.
a run.
They won that game 15-0 off of Bobby Miller too. They really got it going a little bit. I think Bobby Miller pitched what into the
Seven
fifth
earned.
inning. Let me check.
Yeah, 5 2/3, 7 earned runs,
Yeah,
only 5 strikeouts. Bobby Miller, he's been so good to start his career.
he
It's the
was
same
good
thing
for the
with
first
every
4 innings.
yeah, but it's usually the same thing with every rookie pitcher. They're unstoppable and dominant until someone gets to them because you just got to figure them out. It might take a few minutes, but you got to figure them out.
Yeah, yeah. I
What are you
was.
doing over
I'm
there?
trying to find a freaking pen, man. I was pleasantly surprised to see that Bobby Miller collapsed in that fifth inning. Did not think that that was the way that the game was going. I thought that this was just going to be another one of those Dodger pitchers that comes up and has such a impact on the game, especially when you're talking about playing against a rival in the San Francisco Giants. And the fact that he kind of imploded, it worried me a little bit. But then I'm also thinking it's Bobby Miller. Going into that, I think it was like his last 5 starts in the big leagues. He had like a 0.69 ERA.
His maybe first 5 starts in the big leagues.
Yeah, his first 5. So maybe he was due for just a little bit of an implosion. It would not surprise me if he got right back on track.
Well, that's a little bit of what I was saying. These rookie pitchers, that's why a lot of them do so good in the first few outings when they come up finally, because no one's seen them yet. No one's figured them out, So they're always going to, not always, but a lot of the time they are going to be good in their first few starts because teams haven't seen him. Teams don't know what he does, how he pitches, all that. And then once you start to pitch more and more, they start to figure you out more and more. We saw the same thing with Bryce Miller of the Seattle Mariners. He imploded in a couple starts, like 2 starts in a row, but now he is pitching better again. So teams are going to figure you out. You have to start changing some things up, and if you make the right adjustments, you'll be fine. So I'm not too worried about Bobby Miller. I do think that he might have a couple rough starts in the next few starts. So we'll see.
Yeah.
As far as, Giants, Dodgers go, wasn't as crazy of games as we expected to see. I mean, the first game went into 11 innings, but the Giants wound up winning it pretty convincingly. A few guys in the Giants have been doing pretty good also recently. Just when you look at the team, Lamont Wade Jr., he has been such a surprise for this team, such a pleasant surprise for this team. Jock Peterson just came back recently, and he's been really, really good as well. J.D. Davis, arguably, I know a lot of people are arguing for him to maybe even be an all-star this season because of how good he's been. Right now, he's got an 857 OPS. He's batting .288 with 10 homers, 40 RBIs. He's doing really good. Michael Conforto, first season since 2020, and he's been honestly pretty good. And then, of course, you can't forget about Thairo Estrada, who has been having one of the biggest surprise seasons so far. He's batting almost 300. He's stealing bases. He's driving and runs. So I'm really happy for this Giants team. Not to mention, they also found themselves a catcher. They kind of gave up on what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. But Patrick Bailey has now been their catcher. Joey Bart.
I did not think that you were talking about Joey Bart. My fault.
Patrick Bailey's been their catcher now, and it's 79 at-bats. How many games has he played? He's played 22 games, but he's batting .304 with an 869 OPS. He's been very good, very surprising for them. A lot going right for the Giants right now. Yeah. Not to mention they're on a 7-game win streak, which helps.
Yeah, and one thing that I just want to highlight before we move on to our next topic, in that second game, right, when the Giants won, 15-0, right?
Yep.
Alex Wood started the game and went 5 innings pitched. 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks, and no earned runs or runs in general against him. Then for the next 4 innings to basically close out the game, Tristan Beck came in to pitch the last 4 innings, which allotted him a save because it was more than 3 innings of a relief appearance, where he pitched 4 innings, allowing 3 hits with only 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, which just shows you how dominant pitching can be, and it doesn't have to be dominant in every single way imaginable. Usually when I say this pitcher's going to go 5 innings, with no earned runs and a couple of hits, you think, oh, okay, so he probably had 8 strikeouts or something. Alex Wood did it with 4, and then the reliever that they brought in, Tristan Beck, did it with only 2 strikeouts. So they were definitely inducing a lot of small, low contact or right at guys, which is a very, very good sign if you are the Giants. And if, let's just say, obviously knock on wood here, but if the Giants fall off and taper off the path that they're on right now, and they wind up falling below 500 before the trade deadline, showing these stats to other teams that might want to trade for them can go from you getting maybe a prospect and a little bit extra to two or three prospects that might have an impact on your organization.
Yeah, again, trade deadline.
It's a little far,
I
I'll
don't
admit.
think they're really thinking about that right now. I think they're thinking about winning as many games as possible. But I see what you're saying. The better these guys play, the more it seems like a pretty straightforward thing. The better these guys play, the more trade value they're going to have.
Yeah,
So at the end of the day, that's always good for the Giants. If they do wind up doing that, will they? We don't really know,
only one way to
especially
find out.
because they're not really thinking about that right now. They've just won seven in a row. They just swept the Dodgers. They're feeling really good right now. And they go play the Padres this week too?
Yes, they do.
Um,
At home
do
too.
they play today? Is it a 4-game series or is it
Yes,
a
they
3-game?
start Monday and they end on Thursday. So 4 games
Okay, so
set
it's
against the
4 games.
Padres.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I also want to say that the Giants may have won 7 in a row, but they are not the team with the biggest winning streak in baseball right now. The Cincinnati Reds. Um, the Cincinnati Reds are on an 8-game winning streak. 8-game winning streak for the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah,
it is
they just
just
swept the
bizarre.
they just swept the Astros in Houston, right? I believe they played in Houston
Yes,
this
they
weekend,
did.
right? They swept the Astros. They won 8 in a row. They're half a game out of first place. If the Brewers lost yesterday, they would have been in first place. So I'm very mad that the Brewers won yesterday.
Agreed.
But everything's going good in Cincinnati right now. Everything's going nice. And this is great because they're seemingly becoming America's team this year.
Yeah, I think Jonathan India even said it himself. Like this year, for sure, the Reds are going to be America's sweetheart, America's team. And with the way that
Yeah.
this team has been performing, and with how some guys have really, they're coming up to the big leagues and making this massive impact that no one ever thought prospects would be making at such an early stage of their career. You have Ellie De La Cruz. He beat out an infield single. The ball was hit to the first baseman. You know how
Yeah.
crazy that has to be? Like, just the
He's
stuff
fast.
like that. It's
He's a fast,
crazy. Matt
he's a fast
McClain,
man.
I believe, is a rookie as well, right? 23-year-old. I believe.
McClain
Yeah, he's a
is
rookie.
great. Yeah,
He has been stellar. He's batting 272 right now with a 798 OPS, 111 OPS plus, which has been amazing. Spencer Steer, another rookie with a 121 OPS plus, who has played a very, very good amount of games, and I believe will be there even when Joey Votto comes back. Tyler
yeah.
Stevenson has been good. TJ Friedel has been good. Just everyone has been fun, exciting, and good.
Spencer Steers played. I want to say almost every game, and yeah, he's been one of the bright spots. But just the amount of rookies that have come onto this team and just been insanely good, it's kind of ridiculous. Ellie De La Cruz, you were just talking about him, could beat out an infield single hit to the first baseman, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
He is
He's come
definitely the
up.
fastest man in the world. I'll go
Oh
out on
yeah.
record and say it.
He's played in 11 games so far. He's batting 273 with an almost 800 OPS. So he's just literally another guy who the Reds call up, and he's just coming out and he's doing his thing,
Yeah.
which it's bizarre because this NL Central this NL Central is just such a mosh pit of these weird teams. Like I feel like a lot of teams have different character, and I don't know. It's very fun. It's very fun for the NL Central because I enjoy watching it. You got teams that are 2 games below 500, like the Pirates. Pirates are 34 and 36, but they're only 2.5 games out.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's a different story than the AL Central because the AL Central, no one's above 500. And it feels like, I don't want any of these teams in the playoffs in the AL Central. I would, from the bottom of my heart, I do not want to see any of these AL Central teams in the playoffs. We will see one, and it's whoever wins the division. But do I want to see them play in the playoffs? No, I don't think they deserve it. The NL Central, I feel like it's more of a dogfight at this point.
Mhm.
You have those more fun teams than the AL Central. Like I'd rather see the Reds in the playoffs than any AL Central team.
I agree
So
entirely.
I and I think it's up for grabs. Even the Cubs are 5 games below 500 and they're 4 games back.
Mm-hmm.
So anything's possible. They're also 7-3 in their last 10. Miraculously, the Cardinals, worst team in the National League, they're second to worst now because they're third to worst. They're only 8.5 games back, which 8.5 obviously is a lot, but with the season they've had so far, they're lucky to be only 8.5 games back.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. It's an interesting dilemma that they have going on there. But going back to Cincinnati, I do just want to point out that not only has their lineup and their position players been playing spectacular baseball, their pitching staff has somehow been able to keep them in every game. Obviously, Hunter Green, 23-year-old fireballing pitcher, has been amazing this year, posting a 3.93 ERA over the course of 14 games, 73 and 1/3 innings pitched. He's looked very good. I've been satisfied with what I've seen from Hunter Green. Do I want to see his ERA go down a little bit? Of course. But so far, I'd say I'm happy with that. As for the rest of their rotation, it's been meh. But when you hit their bullpen, Lucas Sims, Alex Young, Alexis Diaz, Buck Farmer, these are all guys with sub-3 ERAs, and Alexis Diaz has a sub-2 ERA and has looked like, honestly, the second best closer in baseball.
Yeah. Second best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Behind Josh Hader.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that you forgot about a very big piece of their rotation now. Andrew Abbott.
Oh, well, yeah. Forgot about him.
Hard to not mention him, especially right now. He's pitched in 3 games in his big league career. All of them have been scoreless.
Yeah.
All of them have been 0 runs. He has a 0 ERA right now. I think he was like the first pitcher for his first 3 career starts to go 5 or more innings and no earned runs. He went 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 5 2/3, no earned runs, and then on Friday he went 6 innings pitched, no earned against the Astros, which is even more impressive. It feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So can we give a round of applause to Andrew Abbott?
Attaboy, Andrew. Thank you for your contribution to the Big Red Machine.
But yeah, I think their starting rotation's been pretty. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. They haven't been the worst of the worst. Mm-hmm. And even with Hunter Green, 3.93 ERA, but he's still striking guys out. He's still throwing heat. He's getting it done. So
yeah, for sure. This team has been nothing short of exciting, and I'm very happy to see where they go.
America's team, although I do find it weird that you declare yourself America's team. That's not usually how it goes.
The fans started it first. Jonathan India mentioned it because the reporter after the game had asked him, I hear a lot of America's teams chants right now, and Jonathan India solidified it. So I'm riding with America's team.
I'll ride with it because once it's declared, it's declared. But it's very early. It's a very early declaration. Like 2 years ago, we declared 2 years ago it was the Mariners, but we didn't declare that till
the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, last month of the season. Same with the Orioles. Last year, right? That was last year with the Orioles? Yeah.
It was.
It was like after the All-Star break. This is it's June, and we're declaring America's team.
Hey,
whoa.
They have been so good that I think they deserve the right to have that name be floating around right now, not later in the season.
I get it. I never said I disagree, but it just feels early. But I have to ride with it because once it's declared, you got to go with it.
Yeah, of course.
I'm riding with America's team. Let's go Reds.
Let's go Reds. Big Red Machine.
Until O'Neal Cruz comes back, I will be full Reds. Once O'Neal Cruz comes back, I'll be half Reds, half Pirates.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Half and half, really. O'Neal Cruz has that much pull over you in the NL Central.
Of course. Do you know who he is?
His name is O'Neal Cruz.
He's a superstar.
Second best shortstop with the last name Cruz in the NL Central. O'Neal Cruz.
You watch your mouth.
Absolutely not.
Speaking of superstar players, the Los Angeles Angels, we've talked about them time and time again, and they are still doing it. They are currently 4.5 games back. They took 2 of 3 from the Royals. The only game they lost was 10-9. It was the Saturday game. They could have won it. They just, you know,
Should have won
some
it.
fundamental stuff went wrong there. But more and more we look, the more and more it feels like the Trout and Ohtani show because they are the two superstars of that team. This series, Ohtani homered twice, Trout homered once. Trout had two doubles. Trout was 5 for 11. Ohtani was 3 for 11. They, day in and day out, carry this team, and I can fully say they are the reasons that this team is anywhere close to first place right now. I would say currently, like we said on Friday, it's more Ohtani than it is Trout right now because Ohtani leads the Angels in pretty much every stat category, including pitching, which is bizarre. But I think these two guys are giving the Angels hope this season to
Yeah.
make the playoffs for the first time since, 2011, 2013 or something.
Yes, they are certainly giving everyone in the Angels
What was
organization.
that?
I thought that I just closed out of Streamlabs for a second.
Uh,
I missed the X button by like that much. Sorry about
we're
that.
good.
But
Okay.
I do think that the Angels giving this form of hope, especially playing at like in this way, has been a good sign. Obviously, Otani is like leading all of baseball in WAR right now at like a 5 WAR on Baseball Reference, that is, which I would expect out of him. He does both. He hits the damn ball hard and he throws the damn ball hard, but
Makes sense.
it's more of there are other guys that are around him that I think are finally not having that classic Angels collapse that we see around like June, like headed into the All-Star break. Because right now, I think that it's fair to say this is around the time where we can say we're headed into the All-Star break, and all of their role players, their guys around their big fish of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, have kept their heads above water. Have not been performing amazingly, but they've definitely done it. Taylor Ward is batting 247 with a 95 OPS plus, just under the league average. Hunter Renfroe, their offseason addition, is batting 242 with a 98 OPS plus, 730 OPS. He's been doing okay. Zach Neto, their rookie, who sadly right now is on the IL, but he's been a very, very good bright spot on this team with a 111 OPS plus. The team is actually playing a very more consistent level of baseball, and I think that's a big
You
reason
just
as to why.
you just mentioned all those people without mentioning Brandon Drury.
Yeah, I know.
Brandon Drury has been honestly for me a pleasant surprise because I think before the season I said, he did not do good on the Padres when he was traded there last season.
Mhm.
He played in Cincinnati as his home ballpark for his entire career up to that point. So I was definitely a little worried about the fact of, Brandon Drury no longer playing in Cincinnati. His bat is not going to be there anymore, and he's just not going to be good. And I didn't think it was a really good pickup. A lot of people did, but I thought, it was a little bit of a scary pickup because of how bad he played after he left Great American Ballpark. Brandon Drury, he's batting 267. He had a 2-homer game yesterday on Sunday, and what's his OPS right now? His OPS is 811, which all I'm saying is I'm pleasantly surprised with Brandon Drury. I thought he was going to be worse, but he's actually been very good so
Yeah,
far this year.
and
And
like
Otani's
I
batting
said,
300. It's not fair.
yeah, and like I just said, the fact that all the guys around the superstars are performing well is a main reason as to why I think this team is doing well for this point in the season. Because last year, what was it? It was like middle of June, almost a year ago, where the Angels had their 20 game losing streak or something like that. Oh, Alex is
Yeah, yeah,
frozen.
yeah.
Okay, there we go. He's back. Yeah, like
There you
last
go.
year they had a 20 or something game losing streak, like a really bad losing streak, where it wound up getting Joe Madden, who had a mohawk going into that day. He got fired. Like he never even had to show off the mohawk, which still I think is one of the biggest tragedies in baseball history. But what are you gonna do about it?
Well, first of all, going back to that superstar stuff, can I name every stat category that Otani leads the Angels in?
Oh, you have it up. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Start with
So
hitting. Start with hitting.
I will. Shohei Ohtani leads the Los Angeles Angels in batting average, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, runs, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, hits, triples.
Oh no.
And then in pitching, he leads them in ERA, wins, strikeouts, WHIP, batting average against, innings pitched, starts, and that's it. So how many is that? That's what, 17 or something?
Yeah,
He
17
leads
or
them in
18.
everything. He leads them in literally everything. It's ridiculous the amount of stuff that Shohei Ohtani does for this team.
I mean, the Los Angeles Shohei Ohtanis have been playing a great brand of baseball, and Shohei Ohtani has been the main front of it. And there's no surprise there. He's the best player in baseball.
At the end of the day, this will be the greatest walk year of all time.
Oh yeah, for sure. He could get, knock on wood, I would hate to see this happen, but he could not play another game for the rest of the season, and it would still be considered the greatest walk year of all time.
Oh, 100%.
Simply, and that's not a knock on Aaron Judge, who just won the 2022 AL MVP award over Shohei Ohtani, but it's not every season we're going to get to see someone contest an all-time record like what Roger Maris had. It was Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge breaking a record that had stood for 61 years is the only way that Shohei Ohtani was not going to win an MVP. This year, no one is on pace to even contest him. And honestly, if they gave him the trophy right now and said to hang on to it until we decide who the real winner is, I would say he's just going to wind up keeping it.
Well, Ohtani leads MLB in home runs right now.
Yes, he does. He has been on an absolute tear ever since I took him in the Homer draft, or the weekly ding-dong, should I say. What was it, 2 weeks ago now? But, yeah. I got him hot. I will take credit for Shohei Ohtani's getting hot.
Do that.
Oh, I am. I am.
No, because
is he the only? Go ahead.
No. He started hitting homers right before you took him.
Well, because I had him.
And you took him, and he kept going. So he was actually about to get on fire before you picked him. Or
he was going to fizzle out until I picked him.
He was not.
Is he still the only hitter in Major League Baseball qualified with a over 1 OPS? I think he is.
I can look for you right now.
Yes, if you don't mind.
So the current MLB leader in OPS is Shohei Ohtani with a 1.106. Yes, he is the only qualified hitter with an over 1 OPS.
Yeah, and the guy pitches and hits. It's crazy.
Incredible.
He's also like just a freak athlete. I don't know if you've watched any Angels post-game coverage, but I feel like every time I see Shohei Ohtani in the locker room without the jersey and all like this stuff on, it's just him in his workout attire. He is like, every time I just see his muscles more and more toned. He looks so like in shape, which he has to be. He plays every day and then goes out and throws 100 pitches on the last day of his cycle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's Shohei Ohtani. I do want to mention, because I was looking at the OPS leaderboards, move on from the Angels a little bit for a second. Luis Arraez was hitting like 370 because he went 0 for 15 through a 15, at that stretch. He's now batting 388 again. He went 5 for 5 a couple days ago. He didn't play on Sunday, but he's got a 920 OPS. Think about how crazy that is. He's got 2 homers and 15 doubles. So he has 17 extra base hits this entire season. And he has 97 just total hits. So the amount of singles he has, but he still has a 921 OPS, it's so baffling. Especially if he can finish the season anywhere near that, it's going to be crazy if he does this. I'm actually going to be watching him at some point this week. I'm going to at least one Marlins game, maybe 2. So I'm going to get to see this greatness happen with my own eyes, and I am very, very excited for that. Yeah. So I just want to shout out Luis Arraez again. He's batting 388 because I feel like a little Luis Arraez watch needs to happen now that he's chasing history.
What's his average at?
For 388.
388. Okay, so he's still contesting.
Of course, yeah. Like I was just saying, 0 for 15, but then he had a 5 for 5 day, brought him back up a lot, and 920 OPS. Good for him. Honestly, I'm very happy for him.
It makes you wonder with how you said a 920 OPS while hitting 380, only having 2 homers. I wonder if we can talk about him towards the end of the season, barring, of course, that he keeps this production up. Could he get close to that 1,000 OPS marker? Because honestly, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. There's no other way to say it. There is a way that, barring anything going catastrophically wrong, he just keeps going up and up. It's just a matter of how quick his numbers tick up.
Right. Well, when you think about it, right now he's batting 388 with only 15 extra base hits. So if he winds up or 17 extra base hits, so if he winds up hitting 400, dare I say, he's going to have a lot more extra base hits. And not to mention, he's also got a 440 on base percentage right now because he's been walking and he doesn't strike out. By the way, Luis Arraez, you are a animal. 15 strikeouts all season. 15 strikeouts.
Yeah. It was an anomaly.
You gotta be kidding me.
I think it was over the weekend or it was on Friday. One of the games recently, Luis Arraez took a pitch for a strike, and the Marlins fans and Marlins reporters that I follow on Twitter went ballistic. They were like, "There's no way that just happened. Am I watching baseball or what the hell's happening?" Because that's how freaking good he is, and not only pitch recognition, but putting bat to ball. He is very, very good at doing that.
Well, of course he is. He's batting 388. You got to be good at getting bat to ball if you're hitting 388. Not to mention, he only has 21 walks this season, so it's not like he's walking a bunch. No. He's just hitting the ball. It's absolutely incredible, and Luis Arraez.
Do we see now, if barring everything goes right, and Luis Arraez is contesting that Ted Williams record of 406 over the course of a full season, do you think that he gets the 2022 Aaron Judge treatment of pitchers pitch around him?
No.
No? No. You wouldn't want to be the pitcher that surrendered the final hit to break an unearthly record?
Different. I think different scenarios there. Not different.
Same caliber. Same caliber.
No. Yeah, not different in terms of weight of what he's doing. Different in terms of no one's going to be saying, "Oh, you're the pitcher that gave up Luis Arraez's final hit." No one's going to be doing that. It's just going to be Luis Arraez had 200 something hits this season. He literally hit the ball off no matter what fucking pitcher was there. It's more of one of those things.
It's true.
Judge is that last homer is going to be replayed forever. This is going to be he was just literally hitting off every single pitcher he saw. I think it's going to be more of those things. One last thing I do want to mention. This is the last thing I have, rather, moving on from Luis Arraez. But Pete Alonso made a return yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't supposed to come back 11 days after getting hit in the hand with a pitch. He wasn't even supposed to come back until after the All-Star break. Came back yesterday. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
He did go 0 for 4, but he's back.
So
and the Mets did lose too.
Yeah.
They lost the series to the Cardinals, but Pete Alonso's back. Do you like it or dislike it? Because I don't like it.
I dislike it entirely. We all know that the Mets right now are doing the stupid thing of letting their major league players rehab well up in the big leagues, which is a terrible look. And I was actually working with a very, very diehard Mets fan yesterday. Shout out to Zach. When we got the news that Pete Alonso was off the IL, I had said to him, this is the perfect shitstorm for Pete Alonso to now go for his next 50 plate appearances, because we all know that sprained wrist does not feel 100%. It probably doesn't even feel 80%. He does not want to swing the bat the normal way that he swings the bat, so he's just going to sit there and strike out.
Right. What is the explanation of this guy was literally not supposed to be here till the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, and he just magically reappears one day? What's the lot?
You know what the logic is?
Did he find a magic fairy who healed his wrist?
No, they saw that Mark Vanitos was running out of service time before being a qualified MLB player. So they sent him down. That was the transaction that was made within the Mets organization. Mark Vanitos went down to AAA. Pete Alonso came back up to the big leagues off the injured list. And I think it's the Mets gearing up to try to trade a bunch of their younger guys. And they would rather say that it's a prospect in Mark Vanitos, who, by the way, after his first game going back to AAA, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and a 3-for-4 showing.
Or,
He
or
just
he just wanted, they just want more service time for him.
right.
So,
It's definitely a service time thing.
I don't know if they're
It's
going to
just a
trade.
matter of, do they want to like now we talk about him being a trade piece again and not a major leaguer because he's not with the club.
Yeah, I've seen nothing good being said about P. Alonso coming back this quick.
No, it's stupid. Even Mets
So
fans know that it's not going to work and that it's not a smart decision to make.
no, not at all. All
Whatever.
right.
I got one last thing
Well,
too.
yeah. What's up?
Shout out to the San Diego Padres. Take 2 out of 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays. Fernando
Very
Tatis
good.
Jr. had an amazing throw to beat out, I believe it was Isaac Paredes at home.
Right. It is. Yeah.
It might have been. I'm not 100% sure. He had a beautiful throw from right field. And I watched it in live time. Did not think that Fernando Tatis Jr. had that level of accuracy from the outfield yet. But it looked
Oh, you
great.
didn't. You
No,
didn't
I
know?
knew that he's been a great outfielder. I did not, like, he literally hit.
Yeah, you haven't. You
Who was
haven't
the
seen clips
catcher?
of Nando gunning people down.
I have
He's
at
got a
bases,
cannon.
but I did not, that throw impressed me a lot more than the other throws. Like, I did not think that he had that sort. Like, that's an Aaron Judge throw.
Oh,
That is a prime Mookie Betts throw. That is a Mike Trout throw. Like,
yeah. It was
obviously
great.
Fernando Tatis Jr. is a superstar. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But I just simply did not think that he had that type of throw in him right then and there. A great couple of games. Both Snell and Musgrove get wins where Josh Hader gets saves. Obviously, the house was packed out. It was always it's a great time to watch San Diego play baseball because they're just such an electric fan base and organization. And honestly, they're, I believe, are 1 game under 500 now. Let me just double check.
They are.
Yeah,
They're 35 and 30.
they're 1 game under 500, and they're going in to play the Giants in San Francisco. If the Padres win that series, they're over 500 again, and I think after they get over 500, there's no turning back. Oh,
Hopefully.
Alex.
I don't know. They've been so streaky that I don't know if that's a fair thing to say right now. They've been so streaky. I don't know if that's fair. But, I mean, I guess I'm feeling good. I'm excited to watch that series. Um, do you have anything else, Lewis?
No, I am all set.
All right. Well, that should do it. We thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, subscribing. Obviously, if you like, share with a friend, comment what we should talk about tomorrow or what you think about what we talked about today. Again, it's Monday. We just had a full weekend of games. So everything we talked about, took a little bit, what's it called?
Time.
Took a little bit longer than usual.
Mhm.
But we will be back with tomorrow with everything that happened in today's game. So with that said, we will see you guys tomorrow and a peace. You end it.